Go. What the fuck is that? Can you please? Wow. Wow. Can you clap back to me?
What the? Fuck out of here.
Some places don't just feel abandoned, they make people question what they're hearing and seeing. A voice mimics a man inside his own house, while security cameras capture whispers, asking to be let inside with no one there. So, what would you believe if it happened to you? On December 6th, 2021, Braden, who lives near the Appalachian region, recorded something unsettling inside his home. He had heard strange noises at night before, including tapping footsteps and scratching. But this time, what he captured felt far more disturbing.
I was in my room, and you guys know how I'm trying to catch that paranormal activity that's going on in my house on camera, right, and prove it here. But last night, I actually ended up catching something really good. I don't know how to explain this or why this happened or how, but basically it started off like...
That night, Braden was alone when the familiar creaks and heavy sounds began coming from upstairs. He grabbed his camera, hoping to finally record evidence of what had been happening inside the house. At first, it seemed like just another strange but familiar night.
Any other normal experience in my house. I heard the walking down the stairs and the creaking and the tap, and I got that on camera, so I started filming. And then I go out into my living room to investigate, see if I could get any thing physically on camera instead of just the noise. I did get more noise, and that noise happened to be my own voice calling me up the stairs. I mean, I don't know what the hell that is or how that's even possible, but it was probably one of the most crazy. I'm just filming the noises and trying to figure out what's going on, and then all of a sudden I hear, "Braden, it's okay, come upstairs." What? At first, I didn't even...
When he walked into the living room, the noises became louder. Then something spoke to him. A voice told him to come upstairs, and for a moment it sounded familiar. At first he believed someone might be playing a prank, but when the voice came again, it was much clearer.
Okay, hold on. Why is the tree on that? Whatever that is coming from up here. Should I attempt to go in there? Fuck. Because that was coming, all that thumping.
Come up here for a sec, man. What the f?
Did I just hear that right?
Get up here now.
Okay. That I'm not fucking with.
The sound seemed to change after Braden refused to go upstairs. He froze, feeling as though something was using a voice he recognized to draw him closer.
I'm not fucking with, bro. That I'm not fucking with, bro. That I don't play around with. Oh no. Whatever that fucking was just came down the stairs. Yo, I don't like this, bro. Guys, am I crazy? Or was there not a voice upstairs in my voice?
Then he heard fast, heavy footsteps racing down the stairs as if someone or something was charging straight toward him. Braden backed away and ran into his room, locking the door behind him. When he replayed the footage, the voice sounded like his own.
Bro, I don't fuck with this. Was there not just a voice upstairs with my voice telling me to come up? What the hell is in my house? I literally heard my voice. I mean, I just watched the video back, and it literally said come up here in my voice. How are my parents not fucking waking up right now? Bro, I don't know why this shit is going on. I don't know what to say.
He sat there shaken, unable to understand how something upstairs could have called to him that way.
Just heard myself upstairs when I was downstairs, so it's kind of a lot to take in right now. Guys, if you could think of anything, please comment down below. I am so happy I got that shit on film, bro. That is insane. I finally have some kind of proof about all the crap that goes on in my house. It's never usually that bad. I don't really know what to say. I mean, I heard the thing run down the stairs and now I'm just back in my room hoping my door doesn't get kicked in by the devil or some shit.
Maybe there was an ordinary explanation somewhere inside the house, or maybe the timing and the voice made this case feel different. What do you think Braden really heard upstairs that night? The group entered an abandoned location, expecting nothing more than old rooms and crumbling walls, but the night quickly turned into something they wanted to escape. On March 27th, 2025, the YouTube channel Dustin Frazier uploaded a video filmed at Elk Mount in the Appalachian Mountains. In the video, Dustin and his friends explored several abandoned houses, expecting nothing more than a quiet night inside empty buildings. But as they traveled deeper into the area, the atmosphere gradually became tense and unsettling.
Okay, hello guys. So, we are here at Elkmont. Why is the light going off? We are going in the first house. Oh, Justin's here.
I'm shivering.
Yeah. So they started like restoring these houses here. Yeah, they've been working on them for quite a while. I don't know, just how they built like. I don't know. I always like this one because of the fireplace.
The farther they went, the less certain they felt about what surrounded them. Dark corners, damaged structures, and blocked sightlines made it difficult to tell what might be nearby.
I don't remember that one. Bad.
I think this is like part of the newer stuff.
Huh.
Yeah, these are the original. Dude, you can see the original boards under these. They're like stained.
Ooh, something about that.
And there could be a black bear on the other side of it. Yeah, there is something about that.
I didn't take into account about like wildlife and stuff. Jeez, fuck!
Sorry, Queen.
I thought you were behind me. I don't know. I have 2 lights pointed at my face right now. God, that scared the fuck out of me. Let's go on to like maybe the second house. This is the bathroom I was talking about.
I'm scared we're gonna break this.
Inside the abandoned homes, the silence felt heavy, and even the smallest sounds seemed much louder than they should have.
Oh God. There ain't no lights. Cause it is cold.
Yeah, I can't feel my fingers.
The uneasiness continued to grow. Their lights behaved strangely, and the cold made it harder to stay calm and focused.
Now she fucking works. Okay. Maybe she's just cold. I'm cold. A closet.
Is there anything in here?
No.
Toilet.
That's not a toilet.
Did you see me?
When they entered another cabin, the atmosphere shifted again. The place felt even more uncomfortable, almost as though something inside or around it was not right.
Lights out again.
Chad, is this where people poo-poo?
Also, my question is, what are they trying to keep out?
Fucking black bears, yeah. The North American black bear.
Okay, we're going on to the third house. Okay, so we're walking into cabin number 3. And as you can see, so I haven't used it that much though.
Then something shattered the silence. Their reaction made it obvious that the sound did not seem normal.
Whoop. No pets allowed. I can't come in, I'm a bitch. Look at the architecture.
When they stepped outside, the situation became even more intense. Movement or noise appeared to follow behind them, making them feel as though they were no longer alone.
Go. What the fuck is that?
Soon, they were no longer exploring. They were hurrying through the area, trying to get away from whatever seemed to be nearby. Even after putting more distance between themselves and the buildings, the feeling remained. They kept looking back into the darkness, as though something was still there.
What the fuck? Fucking run! What the fuck? Where the fuck did he go?
I know where I'm going.
It's right fucking there!
At one point, they noticed something again in the distance, making the earlier sound even harder to dismiss. By the end, nothing was clearly seen or explained, but the night had turned from a simple exploration into a desperate escape through abandoned houses. One thing about abandoned buildings is that sound can echo through open rooms, broken walls, and empty hallways in unusual ways. A noise from one direction can sometimes appear to come from somewhere completely different. Still, the group's reaction made the experience feel unsettling. Maybe it was wildlife, maybe it was the building settling, or maybe something nearby made them feel watched. What do you think followed them through those abandoned houses? TikTok creator Appalachia Decay lives in a 200-year-old farmhouse deep in the Appalachian Mountains of West Virginia. In a home that old strange creaks and cold drafts are nothing unusual, so when she first started hearing noises from the basement, she assumed rats or another animal had gotten inside. Even so, the sounds kept bothering her. Feeling both curious and uneasy, she grabbed her phone, began recording, and headed downstairs to investigate. That was when everything changed. As she walked toward one of the old basement doors, the handle suddenly shook violently, almost as if someone on the opposite side was trying to pull it open. There was no wind, no nearby animal, and no obvious loose hinge that could account for the sudden movement. But the most unsettling detail came next. The door does not lead into another room or hallway. Behind it is a solid wall, meaning there should be no space for anyone or anything to stand on the other side.
These are the steps that lead out. I don't know what that is, but if you look, it's been sealed from the inside and the outside.
Appalachia Decay says she still cannot explain the noises or the handle's movement. She hopes the old house itself was responsible, but the experience was enough to make her far more cautious around parts of the home she had once ignored. Old houses can create unexpected sounds, as wood and other materials naturally shift over time. That may explain certain noises, but it becomes harder to rely on that explanation when a handle appears to move so suddenly. For now, the basement door remains tightly closed. Maybe the answer is hidden somewhere within the old farmhouse itself, or maybe something else caused it. What do you think made the handle move? Mandy lives deep in the Appalachian Mountains, where her home is surrounded by dense woods and long stretches of isolation. To monitor her property, she relies on several CCTV cameras equipped with motion and sound detection. Most alerts are routine. The cameras usually capture deer crossing through the trees, raccoons searching for food, or other wildlife passing nearby. Then, one evening, Mandy receives an alert unlike anything she had recorded before. The clip begins with a sharp whistle. Moments later, a faint voice can be heard sounding almost as though someone is asking to be let inside. Mandy immediately checks the camera, expecting to see someone near the porch. Instead, the entrance is empty, the surrounding woods remain still, and no person is visible. Yet the whispering continues, sounding unusually close to the camera. Some viewers believe they can spot a face somewhere among the trees, although the footage is not clear enough to confirm it. What remains is the whistle and the strange voice with no visible source. Still unsettled, Mandy checks another camera. Once again, the same pattern appears on the doorbell recording. First comes the whistle, followed by a voice that seems to be asking to be let inside. It sounds clearer and closer, almost as if someone is standing beside the lens, but the camera still shows no one. To address the possibility that someone was hiding outside the frame, Mandy shares footage from a third camera mounted higher than the others. From that angle, more of the area around the house is visible, leaving less room for anyone to stay out of sight. Even so, the strange audio continues. Several days later, very late at night, the whispering returns. This time the request sounds longer, clearer, and more persistent. Then on the following night, the situation becomes even stranger. A recording from inside the house captures a deep rumbling sound with what seems to be whispering beneath it.
I gotta change it, it's all wet. Maybe I have to, it's all wet. Man, some of the things. Yes, I know. I tried giving you the bubbles. You wouldn't take the bubbles. So now you have nothing for bubbles. Oh. I'm just getting another bottle.
Mandy says she never heard any of it while it was happening, and only discovered it later while reviewing the recording. Some viewers suggest someone may have accessed the camera system and played audio through it. Mandy responds by demonstrating how normal two-way communication through the camera actually sounds.
So I'm going to upload a video just showing you what it sounds like if someone were, what it sounds like when I talk through the ring, what it sounds like on my end. I just wanted to see what it sounded like because I wasn't sure. It's very loud. There's like an echo, but I don't know if it was because I was standing because I was standing so close to the actual ring device. We also have 24/7 professional monitoring, triggers of the alarm, but also it monitors for hacking, people hacking into your computer. So I'm going to upload it here. I don't think that's what it was because I think I would have heard it. And to be honest with you, I didn't hear any whispering like in the moment. I didn't hear any of that whispering even when I was watching it. Like it sounds like a man's voice at around 45 seconds. And once I started seeing all of the comments saying that there was whispering, and I had to put my earbuds in and turn it all the way up to hear it, but I do hear it now. So this is what it sounds like if someone were talking through it. Hello? Hello? So if I'm talking through, I cannot see because it sounds very loud if somebody was hacking and talking through that camera. Can you hear the echo?
Explaining that it is much louder and has a different echo and interference pattern. Others point to animals, birds, or wind moving around the house as possible explanations. Those ideas may account for some outdoor sounds, but the indoor recording is more difficult to explain. Security camera microphones can sometimes alter the way distant sounds are captured. Compression echo and background noise may cause unclear audio to seem more like voices than it actually is. That may explain some outdoor recordings, but it does not fully answer the question of the similar sounds captured inside the house. Whether the recordings have an ordinary explanation or something not yet identified, Mandy's experience leaves one question unanswered. What was creating the voice that seemed to keep asking to be let inside? Cody had lived on his property for 22 years, without ever experiencing anything unusual. Then, one afternoon while mowing the lawn, he noticed a strange patch of flattened grass that had never been there before. The area looked unusually flat and oddly shaped, and Cody could not think of anything that should have caused it.
So I was mowing the yard yesterday and seen this little square patch of grass. It's never been here before. It kind of sank, and I came over here with a shovel and tapped on it. It's some kind of door. I've been here 22 years and this has never been here before, so I really don't know what to think about it. About 1944, there was an old cabin here that burnt down. It may be some kind of well or storm cellar or something. I may dig it up if enough people show any kind of interest in it and want to know what it is.
Curious, he decided to take a closer look. Beneath the grass, he uncovered a heavy metal door buried in the ground. Opening it was not easy, but after a great deal of effort, Cody finally managed to lift it.
It wasn't easy, but it's open. I don't know if it's an old septic or an old well. I had about a 15-foot stick of conduit. I stuck it down in there and couldn't touch the bottom. And I'm gonna stick in there and pump all the water out and see what in the world is down there. As long as it ain't an old septic. I see what y'all think. If anybody knows, let me know. That's what it was. Had no idea it was here, so now y'all know.
Under the door was a deep underground chamber that appeared to be an old well or a forgotten storm shelter. Cody lowered a long metal rod to measure the depth, but even then, it never reached the bottom. That evening, strange sounds reportedly began coming from beneath the house, almost as though something was moving through hidden spaces below. Cody grabbed his camera and went into the basement to investigate. What he captured there made the situation even more unsettling.
What the fuck?
Nope, fucking not here.
The discovery raised an unsettling possibility. Old underground structures can gradually disappear as soil and vegetation cover their entrances. That may explain why Cody spent 22 years on the property without noticing the door, but it did not explain what happened afterward. Could the sounds beneath the house have been connected to the hidden structure in the yard, or was the timing simply a coincidence? Whatever the explanation, discovering the buried entrance and later hearing unusual sounds beneath the home made the experience difficult to dismiss. Do you think the two events were connected, or was Cody simply facing two unrelated mysteries? They entered the former ranch site looking for answers. What they encountered made the forest seem alive around them. On May 1st, 2023, Twin Paranormal uploaded an investigation where they joined Corey and Elton to explore Manson Forest in Los Angeles. The area was once home to Spawn Ranch, where Charles Manson's cult lived, and where rumors claim unidentified victims may have been buried. The group ventured deep into the national forest, aware of stories claiming that as many as 40 murders may have taken place there. As they reached the old hideout, the atmosphere felt tense and unwelcoming.
Okay, guys, we are here with Corey and Elton. First things first, where are we? We're at the Manson Forest, I guess, right?
This is where the Manson family lived for a very long period of time, and where it is rumored that a lot of these missing people that are connected to him.
They don't film often on other people's channels because nobody invites them besides us, because we're friends. We're the 5 best friends that anybody can have.
You literally just say, drop it down. Get it together, man.
Okay, with all that being said, let's learn some more about this location.
Near a dark cove, what sounded like a woman's voice echoed through the trees, but no one was there. Then a music box suddenly began playing on its own, as though something had moved closer to watch them.
There's like tons of leaves and like branches snapping.
Yeah. When I was over there with the camera, that's exactly, you heard it too, right, Corey?
But also what's kind of getting me is the fact that, did anyone else hear the woman's voice earlier?
Yeah, and after you guys said that, we were expecting somebody to come down because, let's be honest.
If there's anyone down here with us and you want to talk with us but you're scared.
What? No way.
Are you not allowed to talk to us?
To be honest, we look like cops.
We're not cops. We're just here to try to find you. What about the victims?
Yeah. Bro.
That actually just scared me a little bit.
That sounded like it was right there behind you. I heard like a
crunch.
You know what? I was just going to say, you know what's very interesting? That the music box chimed. And obviously, if that device right there on the rock, all it does is plays music if you walk in front of it. Move any part of your body.
Their spirit device soon started malfunctioning. It refused to shut off and produced strange distorted sounds that reminded them of Charles Manson's incoherent interview mumbling.
Any of the episodes that we've used this, it's never happened. We don't know, we have no idea what's going on. Dad!
Is he here?
Charles Manson, are you here? Guys, oh my God, this is gonna give you the chills. During Charles Manson's interviews, he'd say weird like that. He'd start mumbling. I swear on it, have you guys ever seen any of his interviews?
Not those, no.
Dude, he starts like going crazy and like wigging out.
Are you mad? Do you feel like wolves about
Feel.
This is too weird, bro. He starts just saying a bunch of different things randomly, like,
yeah.
Feel me, I'm here.
It's again! You didn't even press anything! What is going on?
So weird.
You didn't press anything, promise, on everything.
do it again.
So I closed it.
What the f?
Close everything.
Put airplane mode.
It's on airplane mode.
Then they switched off the lights and asked for a sign. A loud human-like clap came from the pitch-black woods, followed by a chilling scream that sent the group into panic.
If there are any people, spirits, souls, whatever you are, if there is something down here, can you please? Wow. Wow. Can you clap back to me? Too scared to show yourselves. Please clap back. Are you kidding? Clap, dog.
There was.
Dude, there was. Okay, turn the lights back on, yo.
Try it anyway.
No, we just heard a clap.
Try it anyway, see if it does it back.
Guys, you hear this?
I hear it too.
Red Pod the blue.
There's someone coming.
A white figure suddenly rushed between the trees at incredible speed. The device whispered, "This was my home," while the hair on their arms seemed to move in an unseen breeze.
Farther.
Whoa! You're a liar.
Yeah, this is kind of wild.
Whoa, that was weird. That actually made me jump a little. I just saw a white figure just go boom, boom, and go that way. And then right from in front of you, kind of like the direction the REM pod.
Unfinished business.
Oh my god, dude.
That was weird.
I don't know.
Very weird.
Mine did say it's someone else, so it's possible it could be one of his other family members.
That is where all the houses were, whether or not they're there or not anymore.
You just saw the white figure
That's
go that way.
Literally the white figure I just saw. Unfinished business. Like,
We'll try and do a couple of EVPs, see if we catch any voices,
Yeah.
and then maybe do the flashlight method. That's a full grab, right?
you've already gotten full grab.
Universe.
Because he used to say like weird like that.
Cosmic prophecy.
Way too big to be a rabbit.
Yeah, that was weird.
That was like someone like straight up running across the tree line, across the crest line.
Going left.
I don't see
There's also way more rocks up here with writing on it. Like, look, you can see the spray paint.
Later, coyotes began yipping nearby, then suddenly fell silent. When the forest became quiet, the group felt as though something was stalking them and mimicking the woods, so they hurried back to the car.
Yeah, that's not good. We should go.
Yo, we gotta
That
go.
means they're
What
about
the
to.
Guys!
Yeah, they went quiet.
You're good.
Yo, they're right there.
Yeah, they went quiet.
They're right next to us, dude.
That could be what we heard earlier.
Right, they might be surrounding us.
Let's get going.
You're fine.
We're fine now. We have 5 people, but it was just me and Ryan over there.
Y'all want to stay?
Yeah. Go ahead, leave on your own right now. There's your photo op, dude. There's your photo op.
Dude, we just got drawn right back here.
Watch out!
Bro, we just got drawn right back.
Maybe the dark forest and the area's history made every sound seem more frightening. But the voice, the music box, the malfunctioning device, the clap, the white figure, and the silent coyotes all happened during the same night. Do you think they were hearing the forest or something hiding within it? This case begins on March 12th, 2026, when Moxley entered a woodland in the UK known by locals as the Witch's Woods. Reports connected to the location date back to the late 1600s, and some stories claim witches used the area during the early 1700s. He had no partner and no backup, only his camera, and whatever might have been waiting inside.
So, this is the entrance into what people are calling the Witch's Woods. So the last time I was here, I think it was around about 2 years ago, but I'm coming back tonight, completely alone. I'm gonna go in, just gonna see what happens here tonight. Look how dark this is. It is absolutely pitch black, and we've got to go up that way.
2 years earlier, he had explored the same woods and felt himself bump into someone standing on the path. He apologized, then realized nobody was there. That experience convinced him to leave early that night.
I come along the craziest ghost hunts. I felt like I bumped into someone, but there was nobody there. Just get the hell out of here. But I have been hearing a lot of reports recently.
This time the entrance already felt wrong. It was pitch black, completely silent, with a full moon hanging above the trees.
And it dates back, if I'm correct, to 1670, something like that. So it has got a bit of history. Not many people come out here at night. Oh, and I just noticed as well, we've got a full moon. So we're in the Witch's Forest. and it's a full moon. This would be a nice spot to actually try and pitch a tent up.
Other people who had tried camping there reportedly could not make it through the night. One person claimed to hear children laughing and running through the darkness at 2 a.m, despite nobody else being nearby.
And they could not last the night due to what they were hearing, heard what sounded like children laughing and running around. And he said the odd thing was, it was 2 o'clock in the morning.
Moxley introduced himself to whatever was there and switched on his device. Words came through almost immediately. Then he heard a sound that did not resemble traffic wind or an animal, so he stopped and listened.
But you hear that? Did you hear that then? I'm not too sure if that was something on the trail here. It says Bible, then it sounded like, I don't know, it almost sounded like somebody was walking. Are you here? Is there someone back there? Still. I'm stood still. Is there someone back there? Then it comes through still. Do you want me to stay here? Stay where I'm stood? You one of the witches that's been reported to be out here? If you are, come and tell me who you are. Tell me your name. Tell me your name. Reach.
He continued farther into the woods and reached a small stream where most of the reported activity was said to occur.
Is another one where I've heard reports of people who have walked along here and have seen shadowy figures in the woodland here. I'm trying to think. One of them was, he was riding his bike down here and he seen somebody there, and they started moving through the woods towards the footpath and then onto the footpath, and allegedly the person just vanished in front of him and he actually turned his bike around. It is very muddy, and this is what I've got to deal with.
Old maps showed that a large hut or building had once stood somewhere in that same location, but it had disappeared long ago.
On the old maps there, it actually showed like a hut. It's no longer there, and it's not been there for a long time. Maybe we've just been speaking to whoever lived out here is actually connected to this bit of land here. Hello? Hello?
Then he heard a distinct voice coming from the trees. It was not produced by a device and didn't sound like road noise. It seemed close enough to make him freeze.
Right, that's give me freaking chills, that. Please tell me you heard that. That was a voice. That was definitely a voice. I can't make out what it said, but it was a voice that said something. Did I just hear your voice? Put this back on. Was that your voice that I just heard out here then? Was that your voice I just heard? Village. Like, places like this that date back that far. What is this over there? See that?
A few minutes later, while setting up his equipment, he heard what sounded like someone sprinting through the trees at full speed racing downhill toward him.
Literally just getting the S-box out. And I just heard like, and it sounded like they come from this way. And we've literally just walked down this trail. And I just put the stuff down, and it sounded like somebody was running this way. Through here somewhere.
When he switched on the camera, the running stopped. He climbed up to investigate, but found no person, no animal, and no sign of what had made the noise.
You're trying to scare me out. Not like me being here. Right? If that was somebody just running down, one, I would have seen them. I heard them, but I didn't see anyone. And they'd have had to come past me. And I'd have seen them even if they went that way.
Back on the trail, he could not shake the feeling that someone was watching him. He kept looking over his shoulder, expecting to see someone behind him, but each time there was nothing.
I keep getting a sensation like somebody stood just over this side of me. Just here. I keep looking over because I keep feeling like somebody's right there. Are you watching what I'm doing? It is not nice. I've had to put the torch on just to see.
In dark forests, trees, water, and uneven terrain can cause sound to travel in confusing ways, making a voice or footsteps seem much closer than they really are. Then the situation changed once again. With his flashlight illuminating the trees around him, Moxley heard two voices, and this time they did not sound like whispers.
I heard somebody say, "Which way did he go?" Not really recorded, because I don't know if it was maybe somebody somewhere else. And I keep hearing police just outside the woods. Heard them a few times now. You just don't know if there's somebody else here, and they might be looking for somebody who's in the woods. Convict that's escaped from prison. It sounds a bit far-fetched, but I heard people say, two people, so I just turned everything off. And we just made my way down here.
He turned everything off, quietly moved away, and hid behind a tree in the darkness for several minutes. After listening in silence, he decided not to remain any longer. He found the stream, followed the sound of the water, and quietly made his way back out.
But I think I'm going to start trying to find my way out of here, because I've come quite deep into the woods now. They're not using a torch, because I've not seen a torchlight. I'm lighting the place up. So if there's people here and they're watching me, they know exactly where I am. But if they're not using a torch, I have not got a clue about where they are. But I do know the stream is somewhere over there. I can just hear it. So let me know what you think, especially if you just heard somebody say. Then I could hear mumbling, like people were talking. So I turned my light off, turned the camera off, let me torch, and I actually come down when I'm pointing the torch now. I think it's time to find a way out of here, just on the off chance. Don't want to be taking no risks, especially in the middle of the woods.
He escaped the woods, but the voices, the running, the whistle, and the feeling of being followed were never explained. Maybe the forest made the sounds harder to understand, or maybe something really was moving nearby. Would you have stayed there alone any longer? That's it for tonight. Which moment creep? Drop it in the comments. Have your own story, share it with us, and stay tuned. The next one is even darker.